Hello. So for question one, something I found interesting was how ahead of his time that Euripides was when he was depicting women, especially in the Maenads. He said that they felt like wild fawn running free from their hunters, showing that traditionally women, many didn't have rights, as well as escaping old ways or talking about men's traditional control. I found it very strange that throughout the play, the chorus seemed to take side with traditionalism and old ways and sided specifically against the Maenads. So for question two, my first value that I'll touch upon is ancient Greece's value of ordinary folk and uniformity. The Maenads were really seen as intimidating because they had new practices worshiping Dionysus, a brand new god, as Pentheus likes to refer to it as. Pentheus states to Tiresias that women are leaving their homes and running away to the mountains pretending to be Bacchants, worshiping a brand new god. This indicates that old gods and customs were just fine to Pentheus. So next, like I said in question one, the chorus seems to be really against the Maenads, stating that they're running unchecked and lawless and senseless. So this shows that these women behaved, the way they behaved scared many individuals. The second value that I'll touch upon is traditionalism, serving the country in status. So we see that Pentheus, a man that is 18 years old, is really just focused on using his control. The sense that is traditional and status has encompassed all within Dionysus. So he's furious that he is not recognized by the royal family of Thebes, and so he develops an elaborate and petty scheme in order to assert his dominance. So when Dionysus is captured by Pentheus, he states that there will be no greater misfortune because they did not recognize him, which shows the status of being god. So for question three, something I didn't understand at first was the concept of Dionysus. At first he's Bacchus, then he's Lacus, Evius, and Bromus. He's the god of wine and intoxication, epiphany, as well as deception. So he's a character with so many roles, and after research it became clear that he's purposely deceptive. Paradox and secrecy really belong to Dionysus, and they're clear components of his role. This begins to understand why he may not have been recognized by the royal family or really noticed as a native to Greece. So for question four, the Maenads, they're depicted as wild and ridiculously indulgent in this play, but what's ironic is that these practices were traditionally very ordered up until when the men arrived. A common theme in this play is losing wits and tragedy through initiation. Self-control was really valued to the Greeks, so this would be a special threat to someone like Pentheus, a young man who's about to go into active duty military. He refers to these women as a threat and the traditional way of life. He states that they gather in throngs around full bowls of wine, and then they sneak one by one to lonely places where they sleep with men. So, however, Tiresias argues against Pentheus, and he tells him that these worries are brainless, and that if he uses his power to just simply seek control over women, he will not be successful in his life. So it tells me to men like Pentheus, women are an object of control. They cannot run free without a man present. But to men of great insight, such as Tiresias, the great seer, he knows that this is a fruitless effort, and that using control over people will not end in success. So for question five, why is Elvis on the cover of the book? It seems like Dionysus crosses the boundaries between many things. So he crosses it between femininity and masculinity, divinity and secrecy, in so many ways. So when you look at Elvis, he was also kind of in between that line of masculinity and femininity. And not to mention that he had a magnificent following during the 50s of predominantly women who did not have rights. That this time was a infamous time in women's rights, as well as women did not have any rights in Greece, and Dionysus' religion and followers were traditionally women as well. So finally, I'll touch upon my two questions to my classmates. One is there are so many different interpretations of this play. Do you agree with Nisha that Euripides turns in favor of religion, or do you perhaps side with the theme of mortality? So what seems to be the most prominent theme to you? And second question is, this play seems to toy with perception, illusions, and purposely misleading facts and characters. So why do you think that Euripides made such a strong effort to really dilute the wisdom of the intellectuals? And what benefit do you think this served to characters such as Dionysus? How do you think he wanted his audience to interpret this? So thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing your answers.